Software is everywhere, from the apps we use on our phones, including YouTube, to the systems running multi-billion-dollar companies. But what if I told you that good software might actually be bad for business? You think it sounds crazy? Take a look at these.
Being accused of purposely slowing down older phones during upgrades.
Across the globe, Microsoft users are reporting widespread outages that are affecting banks, airlines, and broadcast.
Network that is running on a Microsoft network looks like they are experiencing some sort of problem right now.
The software is actually in decline right now.
So, how did we get here? Let's jump right in. First, let's define what we mean by good software. Most people think of good software as something that's reliable, user-friendly, bug-free, and efficient. And by efficient, I mean for the users and not for the businesses. I will explain why these two concepts in fact might at times be completely opposed to one another. So what's the problem? One key issue is that perfect software can sometimes lead to diminishing results. In fact, a good software relies not on one package of features, but on modular independent functions that allow for those features to exist. Now, if you have independent functions, then there is no need for a single packaged application that you could monetize and sell. People will just use those modules, replace them as they will, and before you know it, there would be no business left. For example, you can look at Linux versus Windows. Now, Linux compared to Windows is extremely modular, and no wonder it is used in more than 90% of all the servers in the world. Funnily enough, Linux would not make any money if it was not for other foundations and people financially supporting it, despite it being almost everywhere from Android mobile phones to more than 96% of the top 1 million web servers in the world. And here is the problem: once software becomes too efficient or too well made, it can cause stagnation for a business. Here's why. Businesses thrive on change, innovation, and ongoing sales. But when software is too modular and also open source, it might become more efficient for the end users, but it eliminates the need for constant updates, upgrades, or even additional support from an enterprise. With less need for new features or maintenance, businesses can lose a key revenue stream, ongoing subscriptions, upsells, and service contracts. Good software can stop people from needing more, which is great for users, but not always for business growth. Another issue, the lack of lock-in. Many successful business models rely on what's called vendor lock-in. This means a business gets you tied into their ecosystem, where you need them for constant updates, support, or new features. But if your software is too good and too independent, it frees users from needing that support. They may not need your cloud storage, your extra add-ons, or your premium help desk service. In the long run, you lose control over your customers. In fact, many companies are wary of software that allows too much independence for users. It takes away the need for a relationship with the company, reducing the opportunities for business growth and profitability. There is also a hidden danger in the pursuit of perfection over engineering. When companies focus too much on making software that covers every possible scenario, they can end up with bloated, overly complex products that take too long to debug, because to make profit they focus on adding more features for the users instead of making efficient modular applications. And efficient engineering is not an app that has many features but different independent modules that can each do one job perfectly, but of course you cannot make money from that. Companies don't make money by selling perfect products. They make money by selling enough products, enough to keep you hooked, enough to keep you upgrading, and most importantly, enough to keep their profits rolling in. The thing is, capitalism rewards short-term gains. If a company can push out a product that's just good enough to make it to a market, even if it's riddled with bugs or poorly optimized, it's still a win. Investors don't care if the app crashes, they care if the app sells. So developers, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Optimize the code or meet the quarterly deadlines. Guess which one wins? And that is the irony. Good software is bad for business. Well, at least in the short-term profit-driven world of capitalism. But hey, as long as you're willing to keep upgrading, paying, and subscribing, who cares if the code is a mess behind the scenes, right? Well, that was my 2 cents on this matter, and I might be wrong here. What do you think? Is good software really bad for business, or can companies find ways to make it work? Let me know in the comments.